If you agree that the post office scandal that has exploded in the wake of this TV documentary drama about it all is atrocious, should never have been allowed to happen, and everyone involved should be exonerated, subscribe to the channel, because I'm sure you're not alone. Even with the child maintenance service interview I did with Ian Biggs last night, this is a place where we talk about this sort of thing, expose it, and let people know exactly what's going on. Now, in the wake of my last video I did about the post office, I was contacted by somebody who works for the post office who wishes to remain anonymous, but the information they've given me, particularly about the computer systems within the post office, is very telling, and what goes on with Horizon and everything else. Now, I've been given permission to read, obviously redacted to a certain degree to cut out their details, to you what's going on. So stay tuned, and obviously let me know in the comments what you think. Here we go. Okay, although the recent documentary is good for most, nearly all of it, it has some serious mistakes in some parts. Now, bear in mind, this is from a current post office worker. When we took over, were outdated old compact Pentium PCs, compact, C-O-M-P-A-Q. Now, speaking from example, this person took over their office in 2011. Now, I personally had an IT career that lasted 13 years before I was a cab driver. And one of the first jobs I had was replacing and effectively decommissioning this level of computer, the early Pentium PCs. While they were good in their time, they did struggle with later things. And time frame, you're looking at the late end of the 90s to the early noughties at the absolute maximum, just for some clarity. In 2011, the post office was still using these, which were underpowered, running glitchy Horizon software, and was still running Windows NT 4.0. Now, that was a network version of Windows, basically, for businesses and such like. And again, something I myself had experience with back in the late 90s, early noughties. Now, the support for Windows NT ended in 2003, which they extended to 2006, and that was then ended as well. So if you ever see any NT4 machines around, they're not supported. You won't get backup or any software patches or anything like that. These computers and operating systems were not replaced until 2018/2019 by the post office. So a good 20 years out of date. These were well past their normal useful lifespan, running a critically important system. The Horizon system has been improved by the time we took our office on, but the system itself was and is still being improved, but still not brilliant. In the last few years, with updated computers, it's got better, but mistakes still can easily happen, which can lead to tens, if not hundreds of thousands of pounds out every day. And, you think you're going to pay your money in a bank and all that sort of thing as well. It's not good. It's all down to correct training and accuracy to stop these so-called losses. Capita was maintaining the system, but has denied ever logging into Post Office Horizon computers and changing things on them. So some of the errors have been Capita's fault and have been lied about. When contacting the helpline in the early days of the Horizon system, the advisors guided the sub-postmasters on how to resolve the mistakes. Have had it where we have followed their advice on how to resolve the issue. Just for an example, a perceived loss of £1,000 then became £2,000 and more. I can't give the exact figures for security reasons, hence the example. And the advisor has ended the call with no resolution. The advisors now have better training in recent years than they used to. When a submaster does a monthly balance now, for example, they have a £2,000 loss, the postmaster has to make good the losses. In reality, if the issue was resolved correctly, there would be zero losses. If these were happening every week or month, then the massive losses would mount up. In reality, if accuracy in using the Horizon system, pressing the correct buttons on screen should be less of a problem with the current Horizon system and following correct procedures daily. You can be out by just a few pence a day, or exactly. Fortunately, my partner comes from a background where she's able to run a tight ship, so able to correct most of the discrepancies, but still doesn't trust the post office Horizon system, as one day can be up or down. The next day's balance is within a few pence, or for weeks can balance every day within a few pence. So you can imagine the compound effects of these few pence here and there, all from this system. And it sounds like, you know, there's not the experience or proper training to be able to correct it. Although, you know, why should they be expected to when the system doesn't work right? As for the charges of false accounting by the post office or of sub-postmasters, in many cases they're actually true, as the sub-postmasters have declared an incorrect balance to hide the losses of tens of thousands of pounds and have been caught out when audited. So the Horizon system, in other words, by the look of it, has made a hash of it. They've tried to cover it, done it in an incorrect way, and then their records have been audited later. They've been caught out and it's hit the fan. Why is it their fault? They should all be exonerated, as it said in the news, particularly if they haven't been taught how to cover them properly. Even though in actual reality, in the real world, there was never a loss if it had been rectified correctly. But a false declaration is still a false declaration for audit purposes. But there have been instances where actual money has been wrongfully taken, stroke borrowed, stroke malpracticed by some, when the full force of the law should be applied on the sub-postmaster. Going forward, Post Office Limited is, or was, rolling out a new IT system to replace the current Horizon IT system. The rollout of this new system was supposed to be later on this year, but it's been postponed after various trials in offices, possibly Horizon Mark II fiasco inbound. Very enlightening. Very, very enlightening information there. I hope it sheds a little bit of light on it for some. It certainly did for me. Let me know what you think in the comments. There is another part to that communication I received, which I'll do for another video, because 7 and a bit minutes is enough. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, if you want to see another one of my videos on the post office, you can do that one there. I look forward to talking to you again soon. Toodaloo.